Good day, everyone, and today we will continue discussing essential topics about introduction to the philosophy of the human person using the learning activity sheet as provided by DepEd to the students in senior high school. So, are you ready now? Let's get it on!
Welcome everyone to my channel. My name is Mon. Sir Mon.
Our competencies for week 2 will be the same as week 1, and that is for you to be able to evaluate and exercise prudence in choices and realize that choices have consequences. Something are given up while others are obtained in making choices. Still, we're talking about situations that demonstrate freedom of choice and the consequences of their choices. Okay? So, let's continue with our lesson. Let's talk about what prudence is all about. And the Bible says from Proverbs 13, verse 16, and I quote, "All who are prudent act with knowledge, but fools expose their folly." End of quote. In short, folly means yung kalokohan, nabubuking, and in dictionary would expand folly to mean criminally or tragically foolish actions or conduct or evil wickedness like lewd behavior. So let's understand what prudence is. Prudence means being careful about your choices, stopping and thinking before acting. Think before you click. Okay? It is a strength of restraint when you are prudent. You are not taking unnecessary risks and not saying or doing things that you might later regret. If you are high in prudence, you are able to consider the long-term consequences of your actions. Patience, prudence, okay? Hindi ka nagmamadali. You have to think first. And prudence is a form of practical reasoning, the ability to examine the potential consequences of your actions objectively and to control yourself based on that examination. Parang meron tinatamaan dito sa Amerika. Let's see. Prudence involves far-sighted planning as well as short-term, goal-directed planning. And it is often referred to as cautious wisdom, practical wisdom, and practical reasons. Maganda itong topic na to. Marami tayong pag-uusapan. Okay? Imagine that you won a big contest and you were asked to choose one of the following prizes. Letter A, a brand new motorbike. Letter B, brand new house and lot. And letter C, a 1-month all-expense paid trip to Fort Lee in the United States of America. Okay, where COVID is magnanimous. Okay, which prize will you choose? What factors made you come up with? Okay, let's see. So, seemingly, let's take a look at the prizes. Parang gusto kong pumunta dun . Anyway, seemingly all of them are great prizes. Okay? However, okay, tingnan natin yung mga premyo. Right? They are all great prizes. However, if you will weigh the pros and cons of each, you will easily realize that one may be better than the other. For example, if you choose the brand new motorbike, you will have to consider the cost of the maintenance of the said motorbike. You will have to consider the cost of the maintenance and other things, no? Gasolina, maintenance, okay? And the trip to the United States may sound fun at all, but you can't stay forever because you're only a tourist, right? A brand new house and lot would be the best practical choice because it has a long-term benefit and use. And I said, best practical choice. Of course, it depends kung meron ka ng house and lot. But still, no? As an investment, it will still be the best practical choice. In choosing which price to get, you have already exercised your freedom to make decision. Freedom. Okay? However, it is important to realize that, as shown in the example, the choices you make have corresponding consequences for your considerations. Okay? So let's take a look. The ability to exercise one's freedom in any manner is called freedom of choice. By law, all human beings, okay, are entitled to make decisions for themselves and in whatever way they choose to. So the only exception to this rule is when an absolute choice harms or delimits, okay, take note of that, harms or delimits the self and others. So it is just like cause and effect relationship where a decision concludes with a corresponding effect on the person or, again, as I usually say, the environment. Okay? In freedom of choice, we can also include the way one acts towards another. All actions are brought about by a person's decision so as to accomplish a given task or plan of action. All decisions or actions, be it big or small, have corresponding consequences, good or bad. Okay? Prudence is an act of making good judgment that allows a person to avoid risk. So it is important to be prudent at all times. Prudent na, hindi prude. To prevent any harm that a certain person may cause. In making such decision in life, it is very critical to determine, okay, the unfavorable effects beforehand. Think the unfavorable effects to avoid greater risk. Exercising prudence in choice implies that one has already assumed all the available options and a well-thought of choice has been already made. For example, if you were invited by your friends to cut your class in the afternoon, would you accept their invitation? Class, huh? In making such choices in life, it always involves various options. We should realize from the beginning that some things have to be given up or sacrificed in exchange for another. In coming up with a final decision or choice, it is very important to weigh the pros versus the cons. Okay? Nevertheless, all choices result in a particular effect that we, as a decision maker, should be ready to face. Like in the example, cutting class or playing online games instead of studying lessons may result to a lower grade or lower grades in many of your subjects or a reprimand from your parents or the school authorities. And we do not want that, right? Let's talk about the things that we obtain or given up. And the first item on the list is individualism, as embraced by Rand, is lined in family dependency because Easterners, tayo, mga taga-Eastern tayo, no, believe that an individual needs the community or the other way around. That is, the community needs every individual. The Filipino and most Asians, for instance, stress the human relationships and emphasize that a person is not necessarily an independent entity. Hindi tayo pwedeng mag-isa lang. Okay? In Filipinos, loob, no? For instance, the individual is the captain of his own ship on the sea that is entirely without uncertainties. Loob touches the daily human aspect of the Filipinos. Meron tayo nun eh. Yung loob, I'll explain further later. And Filipinos embrace family and political parties quite strongly. Most Filipinos act on reasons not only on the mind but of the heart and personal involvement as well. Whereas Rand upheld the individual, Filipinos' loob is essentially more of an interpersonal and social concept that is a privately personal concept. Si Rand kasi gusto niya individualism, no? Kanya-kanya tayo. So parang to develop your own self. Pero yung Pinoy hindi. Meron tayong pakikisama. Filipinos look at themselves as holistic from the range under the principle of harmony. Ito, may harmony, no? This surrounds Filipinos' humanity, personality, faith, and daily experiences. It aspires harmony with others and nature to be in union with God. And Filipinos' comprehensive and interior dimensions stress being with others and consideration to the needs of others that holds back one's personal and individual fulfillment. Now, there is a worry on the group-oriented approach of the Filipino that might set back the individual's initiative and uh, responsibility. Okay? It is contented that the individual should be disciplined from within. Yan. Sa loob pa lang. Sa ating kalooban, madisiplin na tayo. Rather than fear from authority figure. Kesa natatakot ka sa authority. Disiplinahin mo lang yung sarili mo. Discipline and responsibility should be instilled especially through what? Education. You're right. Filipinos loob is the basis of Christian value of sensitivity to the needs of others and of respect. It encompasses give and take relationship among Filipinos. As such, repaying those who help us is a manifestation of utang na loob or debt of gratitude. Loob is similar to other Eastern views that aspire for harmony with others, God, and nature. Loob prioritizes family, relatives, and even non-relatives like friends. And it bridges individual experiences and differences and is the common factor among human beings. Okay, the concept of Fran's free individual and Filipinos' view of the free human being may have differences. Yun nga kasi yung individualism parang kanya-kanya, pero yung loob hindi. Sama-sama. But can still be connected. Filipinos should be able to grow and be aware of their uniqueness. Okay? Children should be brought up to the identity of the members of the family and simultaneously with that of the nation. Self-sufficiency or kasarinlan recognizes human worth and dignity. Individualism thus should not be seen as selflessness. Okay? Hindi siya selfishness, but an assurance of a truly self that is the supreme value of human being. To be a free individual is to be responsible not only for oneself but also for all. Thus, the individual becomes a free and creative person who asserts one's uniqueness with the responsible covering the whole. Okay? So, hindi lang mag-isa ka. Consider mo lahat. Kagandahang loob, kabutihang loob, kalooban are terms that show sharing of oneself to others among the Filipinos. And this is the freedom within loob. Okay? That puts one in touch with his fellow beings. Great Philippine values, in fact, are essentially interpersonal. The use of intermediaries or go-betweens. Makiusap ka kay pare o sa tito mo, kay ninong. The values of loyalty, hospitality, camaraderie, pakikisama, and respect to authority are such values that relate to persons. In short, the Filipino generally believes in the innate goodness of the human being. And Filipino ethics and sanction are given more weight, more than other legalistic moral philosophies that are rather negative. The Filipino who stresses duties over rights has plenty in common, once again, with other Asian people. The Filipino looks at himself as one who feels, wills, thinks, acts as a total whole, as a person conscious of his freedom, proud of his human dignity, and sensitive to the violation of these two. Yan. Hindi naman tayo pabigla-bigla. So, according to Rand, individual freedom should be aligned with economic freedom. The Filipinos sakop, ibang term na naman, no? Sakop or harmony can be a helping value to the full development of the Filipino if it opens up to embrace the whole Philippines society. However, there are cases where the Filipino sakop may affect the social and financial status negatively of the one moving upward the social ladder. For example, no, the more well-off members of the family share their gains with their relatives or friends or their siblings. However, sometimes the beneficiaries of the monetary assistance, yung utang or loan, just use the money for non-essentials. Inom na lang. Okay? Sugal-sugal. Tong-its. When there are more important concerns that should be prioritized, like tuition fees and education of children. Hence, the Filipino sakop must begin to raise its members in a more responsible way, and the members should likewise take this attempt to raise them financially and socially so as not to misuse the help given to them. Moreover, they must come to realize that their personal worth and dignity is not visible to themselves. It is found not in the body of the sakop, but in the one's kalooban. Yan. If these are fulfilled, the Filipinos shall not only be better persons, but a better nation with a sound economy. Okay? A leader or a manager with magandang kalooban is not passive but plays active role in economic development. And leaders should not just focus on the impact of job performance, but also treat every individual worker as a person and not as an object. Filipinos can attain a sound economy through a consolidative, where there is support and help among unit of organization within the company to make up for their inferiority complex of the Filipinos in general. A good Filipino leader or manager must encourage their fellow Filipinos to believe in themselves so that they can bounce back as an economic power. Yes, you can. Just do it. Oh, alam niyo na yun. Okay? Individualism. Okay, let's look at some situations. Will provide Filipinos an opportunity to be more aware of their capacity to harness fully their strength and to commit themselves to life. Individualism reinforces kasarinlan or self-sufficiency. As such, it discourages subordinates from external control higher than itself. Kasarinlan promotes entrepreneurship, which minimizes foreign control of Filipinos. And other than entrepreneurship, individualism also prioritizes countryside development, a self-concept among the country occupants, which discourages dependence on government loans that would leave the locals to follow whatever conditions the government sets in favor of the loan. Mahirap nga mangungutang ka, no? Pag nangutang ka sa gobyerno, di lahat na lang ng gusto ng gobyerno, susundin mo na. And that is quite dangerous. As a result, entrepreneurship and countryside development economically and politically liberates Filipinos from local and foreign interventions. Moreover, Filipinos learn to become self-sufficient, which lead to self-respect and consequently enhances Filipinos' amor proprio or pride and respectability. Okay? Pride, respectability. However, individualism should be tied with social responsibility and should not be just tayo-tayo, kami-kami, kayo-kayo. Our own individuality should interact with the individuality of others. In this light, all Filipinos should be given equal chances to cultivate their talents that inevitably contribute in the development of the society. Further, as individuals who are free, Filipinos should recognize their own brand uniqueness instead of copying foreign cultures. Loob does not only develop the self of an individual, but the welfare of others. Yan, ha? We'll have a long discussions regarding prudence and what we call freedom. Okay? So, as usual, activity sheets are given to all students. Your activities will release your awareness and your freedom and your prudence. Okay? You are expected to work on the activities independently and to return them before prescribed deadline. Take note, bring out the philosopher in you. And as usual, see you all next session. As a request, for those who are doing Mr. President or the President of Madam President of the class, kindly text me through Messenger if there is any of your classmates who submit their activity through modules in the school, okay? So that I will be able to locate them quickly. Okay, you can do your activities through our online links, through the modules. Just watch out for more announcements in our online class for those who are into online. And keep safe, everyone. Bye-bye.